The Winnipeg Jets lost game 2 of their first round series versus the Vegas Golden Knights on Thursday night by a score of 5-2. Winnipegger Mark Stone was the story for Vegas. He had a coming out party in the series with 2 goals and 1 assist. The Jets came out hot in the first period, but were not able to maintain their level of play for the full 60 minutes, and Vegas was able to seal the win with 3 goals in the third period. We'll have more on this game on Friday's edition of Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Hustler, streaming here on YouTube at 1 p.m. Central Time and available on podcast. I chatted with Skylar Peters of CJOB about the game. Before we get to that conversation, I want to ask you, what did you think about the game? Leave your comment in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Overall thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets 5-2 loss in Game 2 to the Vegas Golden Knights?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because start time was half an hour later than we saw on Tuesday, Remo, or maybe just the way that last 40 minutes went for the Winnipeg Jets. But just feeling a little bit more mellow, a little looser right now. Trying to think big picture. The Jets are, coming home with home ice advantage, but certainly squandered a big opportunity tonight in Game 2. Not only coming into this game at puck drop, but after the way they played in the first period. To see them go down 5-2 like this and a third period that was really all Vegas was super disappointing. So I'm sure just like the team is trying to put this one past it, refocus. And, I think there's some clear adjustments the Jets can make heading into Game 3 Saturday, which is the silver lining in all this.
Yeah, I think overall, I agree. You're feeling you got the split, which you wanted going into Vegas or coming home. However, with the way that they started, and we're going to get into the whole game here, a little disappointing. And we talked before, just before we went on, like it was a tale of 2 games within the same game. The first half and the second half. I gotta be honest. Before the game, I was fired up. I got my pregame nap in with the late start, very essential for staying up and watching and recording here. But I know you saw around the league, Toronto bounce back, who lost at home. Colorado bounce back. You kind of thought that you were expecting, a big effort here from Vegas, coming into the game. No Nikolai Ehlers again, not a surprise. Morgan Barron did play full cage. And, right out of the gate in the first period, first 2 minutes, I thought the Jets really picked up where they left off, throwing just about everything on net. Kyle Connor was shooting pucks. They did everything but score there in the first couple of minutes of the game.
Yeah, that was really very similar first period to what they had on Tuesday night. They just didn't get the reward on Tuesday. I kind of had the same level of confidence after 20 on Tuesday than I did today after 20, and that was with the Jets having a 1-0 lead tonight. Everything went well. They were heavily out shooting them, heavily out possessing them. Vegas, would get the puck for a little bit. They'd maybe get a shot off the rush. But they weren't really showcasing that speed, and they didn't have any sustained offensive zone time in the first period. So it was really a carbon copy of the first 20 that we saw on Tuesday night. And Laurent Brossoit was again solid. I think this time around, though, he kind of kept that going all game. Didn't really allow the Jets to have too many great chances, second opportunities, especially when his team started playing with a lead later on. So, after 20, I was starting to send out some texts to some of my buddies that are fans of other teams around the league. And it's like, are you watching this? Like, are you paying attention now? And I decided to hold off, and maybe that's a good thing. My phone's not blowing up right now. So, tough to see, how we could see just 2 different teams, not only for the Jets, but for the Vegas Golden Knights, in the span of an 18-minute intermission there in the first intermission, and then the second period coming out, and it just looked like a whole different hockey game out there.
Yeah, it almost reminds you of the Jets' actual season. I was like, it feels like October, November here with the way that they're playing here. And then the third period was kind of like February and a bit of March. But, in the first period, the pretty good chance, Niederreiter threw it on net. Nemesnikov, I thought, had a nice chance that went over the net. And then we had a penalty. I was kind of surprised at this penalty. Mestikov looked like he had position there on the Vegas Golden Knights player, but he was the one who got called for holding. And it was on this power play where, who was it? They had the one-timer chance, and Hellbuck made, the save of the playoffs for sure, diving over and preventing the puck in the glove from crossing the goal line. Pretty incredible. Yeah, that save was off the stick of Chandler Stevenson, but then later on, it was Jack Eichel with the one-timer off Hellbuck's mask, and he got a cut over the eye, and you almost wonder how much that affected him. They showed during the game, having to go every TV timeout to get it taped up. I'm sure they stitched it there intermission, but another Jets player with a cut requiring stitches. I tweeted out that him and Morgan Barron, blood brothers on the Jets.
Just the other eye, I think. Otherwise, it would have been a carbon copy.
Yeah, not quite twins, but mirror image.
No. Yeah, pretty crazy. And you know what? Morgan Barron took 75 zippers. I'm not going to downplay what he went through in between the first and second period on Tuesday night, but I think for that to happen to Connor Hellebuyck, I don't know how that would have affected his vision, whether he's kind of dealing with some, pain in this region, maybe affecting his focus, which we know is, this guy is the most dialed in the league when it comes to netminders in that department. So that was kind of something I was watching, but I think Hellebuyck was, again, solid. That third period got away from everybody on the team, maybe including him. You look at the heat map, though, Remo, on Natural Stat Trick or some of these fancier stat websites. 4 out of the 5 Vegas Golden Knights goals are coming in between the face-off dots and below the hash marks, right in the home plate, right in the high danger scoring chances. And that was really the theme I thought that really developed throughout the game for Vegas when they started pouring it on, was the Jets could not clear the front of the net. And it started with that William Karlsson goal. That rebound just kind of dropped in front, and he's the first guy to get a stick on it. And Hellebuyck never had a chance on that one. And really, I think there's probably only one of those 5 goals that Hellebuyck would say. He wants all 5 of them back, of course. That's the kind of guy he is. But, as someone watching this objectively, I say there's probably only one that he could have had back. One of the big adjustments the Jets got to make is clearing the front of the net. Mark Scheifele was not good on the eventual game winner, I think, from Chandler Stevenson. And the defense, too, just got to be in position and get that leverage, too. Mark Stone was being an absolute menace in the blue paint for the Vegas Golden Knights. I thought he was one of their best players, and good for him after playing 21 minutes in his first game in like 3.5 months just 2 nights ago. So they're going to have an answer for that, and I think they will with the energy at Canada Life Center, but that was a huge problem for the Jets tonight defensively.
Yeah, just continuing on here on the first period, I thought Kyle Connor, he came out of the gate absolutely flying. At one point, he had more shots than the entire Golden Knights team. There was one play where he just, who did he dangle? Pietrangelo? To absolutely dangled him. It could have been, couldn't been a highlight reel goal. They just couldn't score. Eventually, they did with the first one on the board. It was Adam Lowry with the tip. They have the 2 layers of guys in front of Brossoit, Niederreiter, and Lowry. Adam Lowry, he's been absolutely on fire here for the Jets the last couple weeks. Scored, he had 2 points yesterday, a goal, and here the Jets are. The Hellebuyck saves them on one, and they get out to a 1-0 lead. Again, feeling pretty good here in the first period after Adam Lowry got on the board.
Yeah, and you look at playoff games, and every year there's these momentum swings. And sometimes it starts with a big penalty kill, where a team has maybe a little more offense than the team on the power play. Or in this case, it was that huge save on a shot from Jack Eichel on that one-timer that I thought was in. I thought it was 1-0 Golden Knights. So did, 18,000 people at T-Mobile Arena and everybody watching too. You go back down, you get that first goal from Adam Lowry. And I was feeling really nice about the Jets' chances for the rest of the night. Momentum on their side. They're spotted a goal here with the lead, and they were playing just as well as they have in the first 3 periods. You touched on Alex Pietrangelo. I thought he was maybe the worst defenseman in the series on either team through the first 4 periods, and then he immediately turned it around, just like Mark Stone and Jack Eichel did after 20 minutes tonight. He was maybe one of the better players on the blue line on both teams moving forward. Created some offensive zone chances, had a good stick a couple of times in the defensive zone when the Jets were coming back. So that's a guy that Vegas is going to need to be good down the stretch if they want to get back in this series and have a chance to take back home ice with a win in Winnipeg over the next 2 games. So kudos to him. The Jets yeah, just squandered a whole lot of momentum, and it's tough to sustain that on the road for 6 straight periods. I mean, they were absolutely dominant right out of the gate, and I thought when Vegas came out for the second, this is probably going to be their biggest push of the series. If this doesn't work out for them, Winnipeg might not see this level of effort again from Vegas, because you're going to go back home for a couple of games, have the crowd on your side. They got T-Mobile rocking with the next 2 goals. And, even though Kevin Stenlund tied things up and kind of silenced that for a bit, Vegas was never really out of control of that game moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, after the first period, it was all Jets, 17-8, and you move into the second period. Vegas did start off on a power play. The Jets killed it off, and it was the William Karlsson goal that you mentioned, and it was I agree, it was a common theme. I mean, the puck is in the slot. There's a couple guys in there taking whacks at it, trying to clear it, and they're not able to. Karlsson picks it up, and it was almost the same shot that he scored on in game one, just like perfect, picking the corner. Point blank, not much Hellebuyck can do, but for the Jets defense, they're just not able to get a hold of the puck and get it out of their end. And again, you mentioned that theme. That's kind of what happened on the second goal. Jack Eichel, the puck's behind the net. The Jets aren't able to come out with it. Goes to Pietrangelo. He shoots it, and just a beautiful tip by Jack Eichel. Nothing Hellebuyck can do. Dylan, he was there, had his stick tied up a little, but it's perfect play. And 2-1. You thought the Jets, but we weren't sure where they were going to go. They did get a break there with Kevin Stenlund and Staku Manalainen. Like, you needed that fourth line to contribute some offense, because we know it's kind of rare for the Jets. And then you're in 2-2, so you got to be feeling, even though you've been outplayed in the second period, I think you got to be feeling pretty good heading into the third.
Yeah, 20 minutes, you got to find a way to win this period, and then you're going back home with a 2-0 series lead. Even though the Jets played on their heels, you got right back into it. And the goal from Kevin Stenlund was kind of the last time I thought we saw the Jets tonight, where they were very direct, and the execution was simple. It was precise, and it ended up in the back of the Vegas Golden Knights net because of it. We never didn't see that on Tuesday night in game one. There was no weaving through the offensive zone. I saw a lot of that just inside the blue line for the Jets tonight, even on their couple of power plays. Things were spread out. They weren't directing pucks right to the net. I mean, that's how Adam Lowry got his first goal of the game, right? It's just north-south. Let's put this puck on net from the blue line and see what happens. Vegas did the exact same thing, the Jack Eichel goal. I mean, looked to me like a mirror image of Lowry's goal. The blueprint is right out there for both these teams. And it was the Jets that really didn't seize that after 20 minutes of play. They had that one shift with Stenlund. And when you get a fourth line goal like that, I mean, that's got to jazz up every single guy on that bench and the coaching staff as well. And Jets just really couldn't seize that. Didn't have a whole lot of time to take advantage and capitalize for the rest of the second period. But I mean, you got to come out with a couple of strong shifts at the start of the third. They were still in their own zone, really from the get-go. And then I think that goal with about 6.5 minutes in or so for Vegas, the game really felt like a toss-up at that point. Then ever since that game winner from Chandler Stevenson, Jets just really couldn't fight back in this one. Tough to do on the road for sure. You hope if they're ever in that situation at Canada Life Center in the next couple of games, they will find a way. But you can't help but leave this game tonight thinking what an opportunity lost against the number one seed in the Western Conference. And you hope it's not like 2018 when you won game one and you never really came back. I mean, the Jets never led again in that series after their game one win in 2018. I'm certain they'll have many more chances to do so in the next 3, 4, 5 games, whatever it's going to be. But certainly an opportunity missed tonight.
Yeah, you just look at all the chances they had in the first period to take a 2-0 lead or extend it, and they just weren't able to, and Vegas clawed their way back, and you kind of felt, just off the hop, Riley Smith had a really nice chance cutting to the middle, and they end up having an offensive zone draw. The Jets lose it, and point shot from Alex Pietrangelo. Stevenson beats Mark Scheifele to the front and puts in a rebound, and even just before that, it seemed like the Jets couldn't make a tape-to-tape pass out of their own end. Kept going, hitting the stick and bouncing out back to Vegas. They just couldn't get it out clean, and eventually Vegas capitalized. And I think until the third period, it would seem like the Jets, even though they had been outshot in the second, they still had that lead on shots on goal for the game, but in the third period, it really tilted towards Vegas's favor, and the game winner. The Jets, they really had trouble generating a ton of chances after that.
Well, we've seen, Vegas kind of played like this for most of the game on Tuesday, and these are the two teams chasing the game, right? They're trying to make something happen, and if the execution isn't there, it's just going to look really sloppy. And it did for Vegas on Tuesday, and it did again for the Jets tonight. But I mean, the good news is, if you're a Jets fan, you saw how easily that was cleaned up by Bruce Cassidy in Vegas in the span of 48 hours. The Jets get to come back home. They get the friendly confines. They're going to feed off that energy. And you hope maybe it's a boost. It's, a quick one after puck drop in game one, Saturday afternoon, that time slot that Connor Hellebuck dominates typically at home in his career. Lots of things are still pointing in the right direction for the Jets. If we were back in March and they were playing this way and you hadn't seen the execution by certain guys for, games on end, then it'd be concerning. But you saw it from, all four lines in the first period. You saw it from the bottom six, particularly in the second period. And then it kind of disappeared for the third. But I have no doubt the Jets know what it takes to get back on track and can certainly do so. I do want to see if those D pairs stick, Remis. It was not a great night for Neil Pionk. I thought actually the first 20 was great for him. He was mixing it up. He got under the skin of Jack Eichel, playing that exact kind of game we saw him do with Connor McDavid a couple of years ago when the Jets got past the Oilers in the playoffs. And, he was doing that to another star again tonight, and then just really downhill defensively. And one of those guys that, knows he's going to have to clean things up in his own zone. But we'll see if there's a lineup adjustment, not a change. I don't think there's going to be a personnel change back there by any means for Rick Bowness going into game three. Obviously, everybody's hoping Nikolai Ehlers is back up front for the Jets. David Gustafsson played just a little over 8 minutes, so was by far the least among Jets forwards. So, a big boost to the lineup, one of their most dynamic forwards maybe, and we'll see if a little shuffling of the deck on the blue line is coming for the Jets before game three.
Yeah, Coach Rick Bowness was asked about that, and he basically said they couldn't complete a pass. So pretty honest about what happened, the reason for switching there after the game. I mean, there's a bit of a push there at the end. Morrissey, really nice dangle to Dylan DeMello, who had shot a puck that was tipped. Kyle Connor to draw pass to Mark Scheifele, who had a shot. And then Morrissey, he takes a shot, puck rings around. I don't know I think Brossoit may have got a tip on it or it went wide, but either way, Brett Howden takes it in to Chandler Stevenson, to Mark Stone, and in. And that was really the nail in the coffin there. And that was, they're up 4-2. Mark Stone, the Winnipeg guy, what a great storyline, scoring against his hometown team. He ends up with 2 goals, 1 assist, as he did put the exclamation mark, much like Adam Lowry had the exclamation mark in game 1, the 5th goal. Mark Stone had the 5th goal for Vegas. And it's just very similar to what we've seen, as you said, a common theme. I think it was Carlson behind the net, beats out DeMello for the puck, throws it up the middle, and Mark Stone just walks in and shoots it. It did go off Schmidt's stick, so there was a tip there. But again, Jets losing board battles, not being able to get the puck out of their own net, or puck out of their own end, and Vegas takes advantage. And yeah, I agree. A lot of the goals kind of ended up very similar.
Yeah, and Vegas did not have any semblance of play below Winnipeg's goal line. I'm trying to think back to game 1, and I can't remember any dangerous chance. I mean, Vegas only had 17 shots on goal in game 1, but I can't think of anything that came from below the goal line, and even out to a guy in the slot for a shot. But Vegas had, I felt like a dozen chances tonight where they had puck possession. They could get leverage on a guy that's trying to get the puck off them for the Jets, and then get that puck up to, typically tonight it was Alex Pietrangelo for a point shot, and then something was going to happen from there. So they're going to have to be a whole lot better in the last 6 feet of the ice surface, especially in their own end. Win those board battles that they were winning in game 1 in both ends of the ice, really, in the offensive and defensive zones, but particularly in the own end, and then just make sure that Mark Stone's not in front. We saw Anze Kopitar score 4 goals from 4 feet outside the net in February this year when the Kings beat the Jets on a Tuesday night, I believe, at Canada Life Center. We can't let another captain of a Western Conference team be an absolute problem in front of the crease if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan. So that's just going to have to be cleaned up. But I mean, that's what Mark Stone's done now, and that's why he's a captain of an NHL team. And I think he's made $50 million plus, one of the best Brandon Wheat Kings of all time, and a Winnipegger. Lots of reasons to cheer for the guy. I don't know if too many Winnipeggers are so smitten with the storyline after tonight's result.
Yeah, and another Winnipegger, Brett Howden, got moved up the line, playing with Chandler Stevenson and Mark Stone, and he was mixing it up there too. It's kind of, you look at this team, you're like, how many guys from Manitoba are on here? Zach Whitecloud, Keegan Kolesar. What's going on? What's going on here? So I'm curious, at Canada Life Center, how many Vegas jerseys we will see. They kept showing Mark Stone's parents at the game. I'm sure he'll have a crowd. Although his brother said he's not going to be pulling the Brady Tkachuk, Brady, who's cheering on Matthew last year in the playoffs, which we all enjoyed. As we wrap this up, just looking at the stats, Chandler Stevenson, goal and assist, 81% on the faceoffs, pretty impressive. Mark Stone, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. Bill Kessel chipped in 2 assists for them. For the Jets, a lot of their top guys, that were scoring for them last game weren't able to get on the board here tonight. We talked so much last game, the Niederreiter, Nemestikov, Wheeler line, Nino's -2, 0 points. You got Dubois, 0 points, -2, Connor. It was the third line again and the fourth line with the offense. If the Jets want to continue winning games, they're going to need their top players to score. I know they had so many chances here in the first, so I don't want to be too disappointed. I mean, they played hard. The game was certainly there, but Vegas went and grabbed it at the end, and the Jets kind of faded away, and they'll look to rebound here again on Saturday afternoon at Canada Life Center.
Yeah, it's going to be electric, man. Really wish I was down on Donald Street enjoying a nice cold Budweiser. It's going to be 3 degrees. People are going to be in shorts and jerseys. It's going to be electric, man. And what I'd give to be inside Canada Life Center too. It's going to be a really fun atmosphere. And I think that the Jets have a really, really good chance to go back to Vegas for Game 5 on Wednesday night with a 3-1 series lead. I truly believe that they can ride this home momentum for a couple of nights here. This is I think this is the biggest break in the series between games 3, the matinee, and then you're back to an 8 p.m. Central start on Monday. Really an opportunity, if you don't see a guy like Nikolai Ehlers on Saturday, that, he might be in the lineup Monday and he can jump right in like Mark Stone did in game 1 after missing all that time and be an effective player and play a full night and a full night in his role, and how big that would be for the Winnipeg Jets. But Game 3 is going to be a lot of fun, man. This was never going to be Jets in 5 or Jets in 4 to me. You got the split. That's mission accomplished, I think. And you got to move on and get ready for a big Game 3 at Canada Life Center and the return of, real playoff hockey and that real feeling that we haven't really had in Winnipeg for 4 years since that first round loss to the St. Louis Blues. So it's going to be awesome, man. Looking forward to that one.
Funny you say 4 degrees and it's shorts weather.
I think a high of 4 degrees. Yeah,
it's Winnipeg, snowing,
man. That's like summertime.
Hey, I said as long as I can go outside and not feel like I'm gonna die, then that's pretty good temperature here. And don't tell me what it was in Vegas. My cousin was there. He's like, feels good to. He says feels good to go to a game in shorts. I guess you could do that here on Saturday if you wanted to. So, look, it's we said a 6-7 game series where a lot of the pre-game or pre-series predictions. You got to feel good, but it does feel like a game slipped away for the Winnipeg Jets, and they're going to look to regain their form and play the full 60 minutes like they did in Game 1 on Saturday afternoon in Game 3. Skylar, thank you so much for coming on here in Game 2 of our post-game recap here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. I know you'll be in transit on Saturday, so I'll catch up with you again after Monday's game for the Game 4 recap.
Yeah, good things could be happening by Monday night about 10:30 p.m. Central Time. I got a good feeling about this. This is an easy loss to shake off if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan. So still lots of optimism, man, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks again. And oh yeah, sorry, Skylar, before we go, got to plug where people can follow you on Twitter and see your work.
Yeah, Skylar A. Peters. Never had a blue check. Not paying for one now, man. So just follow me there anyway.
I got a blue check. I paid for it. People were chirping me. I was like, man, it's a marketing expense. I'm
Yeah.
writing it off.
I send like 6 tweets a week now. So like what I'm not paying $1.25 per tweet, man. I just can't do it. But I respect I'm not chirping anyone that has it, that's for sure.
That's okay. I got chirped today, and so my friend, I didn't tell anyone. A couple people like pointed it out to me. They're like, "Hey, so you got a nice bluey over there." I'm like, yeah, it's for work
You
purposes.
used to be the coolest guy on the block when you had one of those things.
Yeah,
and now all you do is just hear it from your buddies.
Yeah, now it's not cool anymore, so I canceled my recurring payment. Anyways, Skylar, I'll talk to you again on Monday. Get some rest. I know you got an early morning. I appreciate you staying up for this one.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure, Remo. We'll do it again.